Live here from the Daytona International Speedway, we get ready to start a season here with the SAAC Coast to Coast Cup Series. My name is Jonathan Capefield. I am joined in the booth tonight by Brett Bennett. Brett, how you doing?
I am doing great here tonight. Always looking forward to Daytona here. Going to be a lot of action throughout tonight as these, looks like we might have a full field of 40 drivers go for first the duels, and then they go for the big win in the Daytona 250 here in the SAAC Coast to Coast Cup Series.
Well, and Brett, next gen cars, we honestly have not had around iRacing for too long. I believe it was since the middle of the 2021 season that these cars made a debut. What can we expect out of these cars here tonight?
Well, I can say this is the one track I can claim to be qualified to discuss how to win in this car. I believe it's the only time I've ever won a race in this car, as I won the iRacing Daytona 500 this year in this car here. This car, it's a little bit harder to generate runs than, let's say, the truck or the Xfinity car. But you can definitely generate runs. You kind of need somebody pushing you from behind, though. You don't suck up quite as well to the car in front of you as well as you do in the trucks, especially the trucks, but also the Xfinity car. But you can generate some massive runs. I don't think we'll see a lot of 3-wide tonight. We might late in the going, but typically at Daytona, 3-wide you don't see it as much. I mean, I know in real life you do, but on iRacing, 3-wide just feels like you're about to wreck all the time at this track, unlike Talladega. So I think we'll see a lot of 2-wide racing, but a lot of it I think is going to come down to strategy tonight. Positioning yourself to be in the best spot to win at the end of the race. We've seen it play out a few times here on JCTV in both ITPN and the Slide Jawb Racing League, where pitting early, like most tracks you want to pit as late as possible, but here you want to pit as soon, like especially for that final pit stop. You're going to want to pit as soon as that pit window is open, and preferably do it under green if you can get some people to go with you. Because that will usually cycle you to the front of the pack if you have drafting help and are running single file compared to the large pack with a couple cars. So it's going to be an interesting race here tonight. We'll see what happens, and hopefully we get a good race to start off the season.
We've got a little under 8.5 minutes to go here, so just Brett, I know we've got a little bit of an interesting format here tonight, so just let's go ahead and cover that just briefly here before we get going here tonight.
Yeah, and I want to go ahead and say that I am pretty sure I understand our exact format. I just want to say I don't think there's any provisionals here tonight, but there's a possibility there is. But we have 2 duels that will start tonight. The top 20, so we will start with pole qualifying. Just like you see in the real-life Daytona 500, the 2 fastest cars will lock themselves into the field and will start on the front row for the main event, for the main race. Other than that, we will also have, we'll then have 2 duels. The top 20 finishers in each duel, the top 19 finishers that are not starting on the front row will be locked into the main event and will make up the rest of the field for tonight's race. I don't know if we're going to have any D&Qs. We were close to 25 last I checked. I think we're over it, looking at the amount of people I'm seeing listed right now. I think we're up to... I believe we're up to 46 entrants, so we will probably have some D&Qs tonight. But definitely going to be a lot to race for in the 2 duels, and a lot to race for all night long as people go for the big win in the main event, looking to start their season off right and start building towards possibly a championship here in the SAAC Coast to Coast Cup Series.
And with that, tonight we are going to have separate sessions, so bear with us as we have to switch from session to session for each duel as well as each for the main event.
Well, they only have one switch, I think. It should be the duels, I think, are all in this session, and then we'll switch over for the main event so they can set the lineup correctly for the main event and then join straight into that.
But during tonight's event, it's going to be a handful for us as a broadcast team, but also for you as viewers at home, so we just appreciate your patience as we switch over. But yeah, Brett, you talk about it. It's Daytona. It's a toss-up kind of race. Anybody can win here, and anybody can really set themselves up to run up front here. What are your keys to getting up front here tonight?
So seeing a field this large, my strategy would be it's what me and Jeffrey did to great success in the slide job season opener here. Is I would just ride in the back, let people take themselves out of this race. You have such a huge field. I don't think you can be conservative in the duels, especially if you're in one of those drop spots. That's honestly really everything I did in slide. I think that my strategies in slide job I think will work here. In the duels, only be aggressive if you're in a spot the D and Q, if you're or close to a spot the D and Q. There's no reason to be aggressive. The difference between starting 4th and starting 20th in this race is nothing because of how the draft works. You're better off just being patient, riding 10th easily in the main event than you are to try to make a move, get wrecked, or get into trouble and lose a spot in the main event. And then in the race, I'd say the same thing. You're gonna want to ride in the back until really that final pit stop is when you're gonna want to go. And I know in slide job that's what me and Jeffrey did. We just rode in the back. We pitted as soon as the pit window was open. Then we got a caution past everybody who had to pit for fuel, and we were the only clean cars, and pretty easily I felt like held on to that race. So I think that's going to really be the strategy here tonight. But then again, you never know. We could see something like we saw in the Pits News Truck Series where we actually went green the entire race other than the stage caution. So you never know, but I think if it was me, I would try to ride in the back until you absolutely have to go later in the race.
I completely agree with you when it comes to super speedway racing. There is no need to be in a hurry to be up front. But I think it pays dividends to sometimes remember that if you're up front, you could sometimes take away some of that craziness that you deal with about mid-pack on back. Obviously, being out back, you can check up a lot sooner. But even being up front, you can sometimes control your own race and really set the pace for yourself.
Sorry. My personal rule at the plate tracks is to never ride in the middle of the pack. If I'm in the middle of the pack, if I don't see a way to get to the front, I'm going to drop out of the pack. If I can get to the front, I'm going to try to get to the front because I can control the race from there. Usually, like if I start up front, I'll try to stay up front, but as soon as I start getting cycled back, then I'll just drop all the way to the back because it's just, you don't want to be in that mid pack. That mid park here is very, very dangerous. I mean, we do have the new damage model on these cars, so you can get away with a lot without dying, but if you break a toe link, your race is pretty much done. That's going to probably be a multiple lap repair. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We have a huge field here tonight. We got some returning drivers from last season in this league, like Brian Lorenzo and I'm blanking on names, and Riveras. But we also have some drivers from other leagues here on JCTV. We got Jonathan Parker out here tonight. We got our JCTV colleague, Dawson Allen, Luke Knupp, Ethan Fonseca Moreno, Michael Walls, a lot of drivers we see elsewhere running here tonight, plus all the regulars last year who put on a great season in the season 0 of the SAAC Coast to Coast Cup Series. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Really looking forward to it.
As am I, as we have about 2.5 minutes to go here in practice before we start the duels. Normally we would probably go with our race picks, but I'm going to save that for when we get to the main event. But Brett, I'll ask, who do you have your eye on here that could lock themselves in here in the qualifying and the heat races?
I really like. I mean, I think one of the people to watch all night tonight. I think Jonathan Parker's going to be one to watch all season if he is running the whole season here. I don't know if he is or not, but he is. We've seen he pretty much everything he gets in here on JCTV. He is a force to be reckoned with. Although I will say I don't think he's the strongest plate racer. I think that's if there's one weakness in his game, it's that his plate racing is not the best. But I think he's going to be strong here. Michael Walls, honestly, I've seen a lot of good stuff from him at plate tracks. My knowledge of people on plate tracks is more with drivers who I've raced with in other leagues. A lot of the drivers here I've not raced with before, so I can't speak to their plate racing acumen because I know a lot of people want to say plate racing is all luck and all chance, but it's really I think it's like chess at 200 miles an hour. It's all about positioning yourself in the right place and knowing when to take runs and when not to take runs, when to make a move, when to push, when to lay back. It's it's all mental. It's all a thinking game. So, yeah, I look really forward to it here. It's gonna be. And I will say, assuming we get no other entries, I believe we are at 46 entrants. I'm double checking my math here to make sure. And of course, somebody runs a lap right as I'm checking it. And actually, I believe we are at 45 entrants, unless I'm missing somebody. Yeah, we're at 45 entrants, so we will have three DNQs from the first heat and 2 from the second heat, if that is the case.
And I gotta say, I apologize to all the drivers and fans at home. I am having a bunch of trading paint issues right now, so nothing is loading in how it should be. For some reason, the 5 of Luke Mahone is showing as the 7. And I'm not quite sure. There's an accident right there.
Yeah, that's
tried everything with trading paints to get it to work properly, and it's just not cooperating right now.
And just to explain to people, trading paints does that sometimes, where you'll load into a session and it will just put the wrong paint on every single car, and then sometimes it'll fix itself, sometimes it won't. It probably will fix itself as we move on here today. It just might take some time. It'll probably help once we get into these duels with a little bit less cars out on track. So we are now underway in qualifying.
We're checking out Brad Sawinski here. I'm going to butcher your name all season long, my friend. I'm sorry. I know we have that pronunciation chart, but I just cannot figure out how to say that.
I believe it is Suiwinski. The W was silent, if I remember right, from reading that chart, which, yeah, Polish names are difficult. I've had a couple of Polish friends growing up, and their names, if they didn't tell me how to pronounce it, I would completely mess it up. So we'll try our best to get these right, but as always, we're only human. So
absolutely.
I'd like to thank Cody Rivera's for giving us the guide to pronounce these names, at least giving us a fighting chance here.
And yeah, I hope the second session is much better with trading paints. I really am not sure what's going on. It's showing him with Brian Lorenzo's paint, but he's out here on what I believe is his first lap, or coming to his first lap.
Yeah.
5 minutes of qualifying, so a lot of drivers
his first
out
lap.
there
He's gonna
making laps.
Yeah, he's gonna run the top his first lap. I don't know. I have not qualified the next gen car here really much. So I'm not sure if the first or second lap is where you want to be going fast. Sometimes at these plate tracks, actually running the bottom lap 1 will be the go-to move, but it just depends on what you're feeling. It looks like we have the people running probably at the top of the board right now ran the bottom on their first lap.
Well, right now,
currently at the top
board sits 2.
Really fast lap from Luke Knupp.
Yeah. Luke
One of our Slide Job Racing League regulars.
Top of the board right now with a 49.877. We'll see if that holds. Paul M's going to be right behind him with a 49.973.
Yeah, Rivers Jones, now Brady Floyd on the front row. Now Jonathan Parker bumps up the second. Remember, the top 2 here will start on the front row for the feature here tonight. And as we say that, Michael Walls dead even with Jonathan Parker, but beats him probably in the tens of thousands of the second.
Yeah, Michael Walls actually is going to be 1,000th faster, 49.902 to a 49.903 of Jonathan Parker.
Yeah, my iRacing, ATVO showing that 1,000th of a second difference. iRacing itself is actually showing them both running 902s, so that's really tight between those two.
At the 45 of Andretti Robinson out here on his first lap, running that high side. He's probably going to dip it down to the bottom here, coming to lap 2.
Yeah, and those fast laps so far, everybody has run the fast laps. The fastest laps so far have almost all been run on lap one. As meanwhile, Luke Mahone also runs a 49.902 and will slot in the third position. And Wyatt Roberts will bump Michael Walls up the front row. He goes second fastest at a 49.899.
As we continue to watch the second lap for Andretti Roberts. Got a couple other cars out there. Cash Culp, Eric Heater, Austin Duran, and Gabe Cazzola all yet to qualify.
And Cazzola, I don't think Cazzola
aren't even moving yet, so I don't think they're going to get a lap down.
I don't think Cazzola or Duran's going to be able to get a lap in here. So I think probably, well, as I say that, I thought we weren't going to have anybody else bump up, but Aaron Brown goes second fastest, a 49.898. And assuming things hold, that means our front row for the main event tonight will be Luke Knupp and Aaron Brown.
I don't think Cash Culp is going to make it back to the line here to complete his second lap. His time expires. Yep, he's not going to make it back. So we are going to get ready to set up for our duels here.
And we actually have 47 entrants, so we'll have the final four finishers who are not Luke Knupp in this first heat duel will be the ones missing the main event here today. Do you want I can go ahead and go through our starting grid, Jonathan?
Let me just get that pulled up here. If ATVO does it properly, it should. Starting grid. And it just froze up for a second. We are getting the starting grid pulled up, I promise, but everything is freaking out tonight, ATVO and Trading Pains. So on the front,
that's how it works. That's how it works with iRacing. We should also note that iRacing had their season update yesterday. So usually the servers sometimes get a little funky a night or two after. So
well, we do have it pulled up. So our starting grid on the pole, as mentioned before, is going to be Luke K. Knupp. To his outside is going to be that 7-car
the
Brown.
42 of Wyatt Roberts.
42 of Wyatt Roberts. Okay, everything is messed up. We're just going to try and make do. So everything on the inside row is this current heat because the starting grid is messed up. So to the outside is going to be Wyatt Roberts. Inside row 2, Luke Mahone. Then it's going to be Ryan Kendrick outside.
Yeah, we got falling further back. We got Ellis Wells and Jason Radchcock on row 3. Zachary Forden and Nicholas Borowski on row 4. Then Luke Peters and Brad Suiinski. Paul Ims and Matthew Miles. Jeffrey Belk, Jake Scarborough, Ethan Eckert, Ollie Reeves, Damian Tomsick, and Patrick Coluccio, Declan Durba, Cody Riveras, Dawson Allen, Cash Culp, Shockey Tarpley, and Gabe Cazzola will round out our field here today.
And I think we might have just made some JCTV history because of the way this starting grid is working. I cannot click past top 40, so all those drivers past Cody Riveras, I could not see.
Oh, we've never had a field this large at JCTV, I don't think. So
might be setting a new record here for JCTV, but as mentioned, there are going to be some drivers on the outside looking in tonight. And the guys who I think have the biggest challenge ahead of them being Gabe Cazzola, Shockey Tarpley, those guys starting out back, they're going to have to work their way up here in a hurry.
Yeah, and one person I'm going to be watching for here, I think I'd love to see Dawson Allen make it in this main event.
As pace car pulls off to pit road, we go green here in duel number 1.
And a good launch for the inside lane. Luke Knupp going to get clear out in front, followed by the 5 of Luke Mahone. Although Wyatt Roberts is going to fight back here on the outside. The real thing to watch for here early is going to be how these lanes get formed up as we get underway.
Wyatt Roberts leading that outside lane. He's got the 16 of Ryan Kendrick in behind him.
Also, not sure what happened, but Damian Tomsic had a slight issue. It appeared on pit road before this race, went to the rear, and has lost the main draft on the initial start. So he's going to have to really fight back to get back into it here as the inside line dominated. We got a car around on the front stretch.
We got a couple cars around. I believe it's going to be Borowski turned around.
Yeah, it was.
There.
I believe it started with Nicholas Borowski, and looks like Shockey Tarpley involved, as is possibly Damian Tomsic and Cash Culp.
Watching the replay here to see what happens.
Oh, it looks like a move. It looks like kind of maybe a little bit of checkup on the front stretch, or people just getting out of sorts. Matthew Miles went to the inside and then caught Nicholas Borowski in the left rear, spinning him around. Big contact from Patrick Coluccio to the front of him. Meanwhile, Cash Culp and Shockey Tarpley got the other avoiding the wreck. I think they'll both be fine with minimal damage. I'm not sure about Borowski.
Back up front, the field's still catching up to the pace car here as they go down the back straightaway. Still field in the hands of Luke K. Nupp.
As we do have Cash Culp and Nicholas Borowski coming down pit road here. It's the kind of damage they have. I mean, if you don't knock a toe link out, you'll probably be good. These heats only 15 laps, so if you're going to make a move, you have to make it pretty quickly here. And I can confirm Nicholas Borowski has a meatball, so probably toe link damage. And I'm sure that takes him out of contention here tonight. And assuming we don't have any provisionals, because I know he ran last season, and I can't, once again, not 100% certain on that. I'm pretty sure we don't. I'm pretty sure he will D and Q here tonight.
That's a tough break for Borowski as he is attempting to make the field here tonight. Again.
Yeah, Cash Culp was taking damage, but he will roll off pit road and beat the pace car out, so he will be on the tail end of the lead lap as we get back going. That time you really saw the outside line die out. Wyatt Roberts, our outside pole sitter for this heat, dropped all the way back to the 8th position. Meanwhile, by the way, here we got Gabe Cazzola, Shockey Tarpley, and Patrick Coluccio all coming down pit road. Probably all mainly check damage. Might as well, especially if you were possibly caught up in that. Cazzola might have just taken 4 tires. Coluccio, very quick stop. I think he just checked damage. Probably didn't have any and just pulled back out. Shockey Tarpley going to sit on pit road and take some repairs here. And if I remember right, we do have the choose cone here in the SAAC Coast to Coast Cup Series. So I believe, I don't have it in front of me, but I believe this will be the choose. They will choose this time by the start finish line. You can see what people choose. In that previous restart, the bottom line definitely won out, but you see that a lot in the next gen. That top line really does not get going on restarts. And you really got to be patient up top to make it work. And people, a lot of times, are impatient, will pull to the bottom, and that just kills that top line. If you get people who will be patient and stick with it, you can really make it work, though. You know, Nicholas Borowski was able to get all his damage to get at least his required damage fixed and has rolled off pit road. He is now 1 lap down, so he will need a caution, but still potentially a chance to get back into this race.
So as we've seen the choose there, it looks like Robert's going to be able to line up in that outside lane.
So the top 7 drivers all chose the inside line. Wyatt Roberts was 8th coming to the choose, and now he will restart on the outside of the front row. I don't agree with that, to be honest. I really think that outside line works. I don't know. I think people are just too impatient up there.
I kind of agree with you. The outside line does actually work very well in these cars, but you have to get organized and push like crazy to get the momentum to get up there. But if you know how to work the side draft in these things, the side draft kills that inside line if you just get on the right rear.
Honestly, you don't even have to side draft in the side draft helps, but I've before been able to do it without even side drafting. Just that momentum you carry down the straightaways, even if you're not side drafting, is so big that you can really just make that outside lane work. So, Emily, I will once again state iRacing updated yesterday, so sometimes iRacing will randomly change some slight factors in the packages. So, could be a little different, but assuming that it's the way it's always been, yeah, I think that outside line, I would have, if I were like, I understand Luke Mahone's following Luke Knupp there, and even P3, Ellis Wells. But if I'm like 4th in line, I'm going to take the front row over starting P7.
Pace car's going to pull off to pit road. We get ready to go green again. And Luke Knupp in the all-white car is going to lead them to the green here. Green flag back out. We're racing again here at Daytona. Outside lane did not get a good restart there. Luke
Yeah, that's what they've been going the outside lane is both times they have not had a good restart, although they are a little more organized than that bottom lane. That bottom lane getting kind of spread out. Good jump from the 29. We'll see if they can generate some momentum off the corner. It's all going to be if they can stay hooked up. They're really kind of been squirrely up there, and I think that's one of the things that's been hurting them. And they do have some momentum down the backstretch, but still struggling a little bit. The top 3 on that bottom appears Luke Knupp, Luke Mahone, and Ellis Wells all clear out in front. Meanwhile, Patrick Coluccio appeared to have lost the draft on that restart.
And the top lane is just fizzling out right now. Nobody on the top except for that.
Yeah, and as I was saying earlier, it's just that nobody's being patient up there. Like, you can make that top lane work. I just think people just aren't being patient enough. And if they were being more patient, I don't think we'd have any issues up there.
Now Wyatt Roberts still leading the outside lane. No help from anybody behind, though.
Yeah, and he's dropped all the way back to 9th. I mean, admittedly, right now, I don't mind it if I'm Wyatt Roberts because we got such a field. Dawson Allen's going to pull up to the top, try to move forward a little bit. Currently out of this main pack, I believe only the last 2 people in this main pack due to Coluccio losing the draft and Nicholas Borowski being a lap down would be missing the field. So you can probably take a little bit of a risk here. Try to make some moves.
Yeah, and you mentioned, top 20 not going to make the field. So, or top 20 going to make the field, outside the top 20 not going to make the field. So, I mean, if you're in Dawson Allen's seat right now, you like what you see with that top going away.
Oh, big checkup. Somebody went below the double yellow there, looked like. It looks like they really stacked on the bottom there. Going back to take a look here at what exactly happened on the back. There was a big stack up.
I believe that was the 71 of Jason Rajak.
Yeah, he went below the yellow, then pulled back up. So, I mean, I didn't pass anybody, but there was definitely a big checkup. And that's when you think, when you get single file like this, you really have to watch out for those checkups because, especially when you're like back where somebody like Dawson Allen is running 14th, you just got to be really careful because there's huge checkups. You can get a big run, and suddenly it's just everybody stops because usually it starts like somebody has to check up around P3, P4, and it just – meanwhile, we got a battle for the lead. It looks like the 2nd through 5th going to line up and hang out Luke Knupp. Luke Mahone to the lead with Ellis Wells, Zachary Ford, and Luke Peters.
That looked like an organized move from those drivers, and Luke Knupp already locking himself into this race, so these guys just trying to shuffle him out here and improve their starting position a little bit.
Yeah, and if 4 people pull out in a line, you are probably not going to be able to defend against that. You can try to block it, but probably not going to work out. The top looked like it was getting organized there for a second, led by, I don't have the number on that car, still getting used to the paint schemes here tonight. The Declan Durba leading the outside lane, but people still pulling down. Luke Knupp going to pull out, try to lead that outside lane now. He's got Durba and Ethan Eckert right behind him, along with Jake Scarborough. Although Scarborough going to pale out. That top lane, though, starting to form a little bit.
Yeah, starting to form up. It's going to be 5 to go right now, so it's time to go if you're going to improve your position. And looking at our battle around the top 20, Rivera's and Roberts battling out there for that top 20.
They're both 9-20th. Cash Culp and Damian Tomsick have lost the main pack, and because of that, these 20 cars you can see right now are going to be the 20 that transfer as it stands right now, barring something unexpected. We do have somebody blinking towards the back of that group. Not sure who it was. We got side for the lead. Luke Knupp has managed to make that outside work and is now up to side by side of Luke Mahone for the lead, with Declan Durba pushing him. Ellis Wells all over the back bumper of Luke Mahone.
Watching from the JCTV live stream right now, you're seeing basically the 2 white cars versus everybody else. Those are the only 2 drivers that absolutely will not load any kind of paint scheme. Apologize for all the issues here tonight. Hopefully the second session goes much smoother, but if not, we'll figure out what the heck is going on before next week shows up. This is an unexpected issue. It was working fine earlier today, and now, of course, not working.
Oh, it's Luke big Knupp wiggle for Declan Durba off the corner.
Yeah, that's Declan Durba.
Luke Knupp actually managed to get clear of Luke Mahone for the lead there, but yeah, big bobble there, but he's able to keep it together, and meanwhile, that really has killed out that top line. 3 laps to go here. Dawson Allen currently at the back of the strap. Meanwhile, Dawson Allen at the back of his pack. You see people just running back and forth. Right now, I kind of agree with what Dawson's doing right now, to be honest. Just riding in the back, he is in the feature as long as they don't wreck in this lead pack. There is no reason for him to move any further than 20th. I would actually like to start 40th in the feature on the last row. You can take it so easy and just stay out of trouble. I like it. Now Jason Radcock going to lead the outside lane with Gabe Cazzola pushing him. And now pulling up in front of him is going to be Ethan Eckert. 2 laps to go this past time by.
You feel the intensity building amongst these drivers, all of them trying to just improve their position.
Oh, and once again, Luke Knupp going to get hung out by multiple drivers on the bottom. He's going to have Luke Peters behind him now, but Luke Mahone, Ellis Wells, Zachary Forden, and Ethan Eckert all move to the bottom now as one. Luke Knupp once again getting hung out by a coordinated effort from some drivers behind him.
Luke Mahone going to lead him to the white flag here. Does he lead him back to the checkered? We will find out. Luke Knupp got himself back to that top lane. He's leading that top lane. And
Ellis Wells pulls out a lane, and he's going to take it 3 away. Luke Knupp gets up into the wall, though. Looks like he tried to make a move up the track.
And
Morgan with the wall between him and Radcock. He's just trying to hold it up there. Oh, more contact, and into the wall goes Brad Sawinski. And I think maybe he damaged the car there on Luke Knupp. That was weird from him.
That's going to be good news for those guys that lost the draft. If Sawinski can't get it back going, he does. But how far back are they?
We got contact between Ellis and the 12. Multiple cars around. Jake Scarborough, Wyatt Roberts. Multiple people wrecking at the back of the pack. Dawson Allen's in it.
Oh, it's the big one. They got to get it turned around and get going.
Yeah, you can see cars lipping it towards the line. Meanwhile, Luke Mahone will win. But the question is, who will have the final transfer? Shockey Tarpley's coming to the line. Sawicki's going to get through. Durba's going to get through. Ellis Wells is going to get through. Here comes Cash Culp. He is off of turn 4. And he is actually going to... He will beat Ellis Wells to the checkered flag. Ellis Wells was 18th. Shockey Tarpley trying to make it to the line. He's come to a stop. Damian Tomczyk appears to be just limping to the line. Borowski's out. I'm trying to figure out who's going through right now. And Tomczyk will make it to the line, and he'll get scored 20th. So I think that will do it. Our 4 eliminations, if I'm not mistaken here, are going to be Patrick Coluccio, Ethan Eckert, who is in a great position that whole race, Matthew Miles, and Nicholas Borowski. Both Eckert and Miles, they were easily in, and then that last lap calamity took them both out.
We'll go down our starting order for the second heat race here. Duel, I guess it's properly called. It's going to be Aaron Brown on the pole, Michael Walls to the outside, Jonathan Parker inside row 2, Brian Lorenzo 4th on the second, outside of the second row, Ethan Fonseca Moreno 5th, Devin Frank 6th, Cody Webster 7th, Brady Floyd going to start 9th, and Greg, you're just going to have to go to the chart for that.
Snellgrove.
Thank you.
At least that one I think is pronounced like it's spelled.
I hope so. We might have to go to the chart.
That looks to be at least like an English language, like an English.
Greg Snellgrove going to round out your
type
top
name
10.
Or Scottish. Yeah, the rest of the field going to be Sean Kazane, Rivers Jones, Andretti Robinson, Hunter Collier, Wes Gallo, Brandon Fiedler, Kristen Troll, Chase Gibbons, Eric Heater, Matthew Stotts, Traber Burns, Amir Bascombe, and Austin Duran. 3 drivers from this heat will not advance. We'll have to see what happens. That last race looked like we knew who was going to be advancing until that final lap, and then everything got turned sideways, so...
Yeah, you mentioned it, Brett. We don't have a guarantee of who's going to make the race and who's not. I mean, we could see the same thing we saw last race. We saw a couple drivers lose the pack, but a last lap crash takes a couple drivers out. And now we've got guys on the outside looking in going into the main event here tonight. They're not going to be participating. They're going to be watching and just hoping that they can qualify for next week's race.
Yeah, and that was... Yeah, I think that's going to be the key here. Once again, I think I'm saying it all race, but just survive. And just make the feature. I think, honestly, I think some of the people in that main pack, there were some people blocking aggressively, but at the same time, you got nothing to lose by just riding around. Instead, some people put themselves in situations where they just got taken out and no longer have a chance to be, or won't be racing the main event. I kind of disagree with that mindset. I don't know. I usually like to race for the win, but at the same time, you got to know when to be aggressive. And I feel like some people are being aggressive in situations. Meanwhile, the pace car is off for heat 2.
And we are green.
And actually, a quick note, it appears Jonathan Parker actually going to start from pit road here. So he's going to lose the draft on the initial start.
That he will, but I think he's kind of banking on what we just talked about. A crash to happen, and he'll get right back.
That's probably not a bad call from Jonathan. I would not want to start from pit road. I would just try to drop to the apron on the backstretch and go to the back. That'd be my call if I were in that.
Now this second duel already looking quite different than the first one.
Yeah, that top line looking way more formed off the initial start.
And nobody's really dropping from the top. They're all looking like they're content to just ride 2x2 right now.
Yeah, we got Aaron Brown still leading, followed by a regular here on JCTV, Ethan Fonseca Moreno, Cody Webster third in line. Meanwhile, leading that top line, we got Michael Walls. Usually see him in some Hendrick schemes today, going with the Roush scheme, the Chris Buescher 17 on that car. Meanwhile, Aaron Brown gonna try to work both lanes in the Optic Chevrolet. And no surprise there that Michael Walls up towards the front. He, having raced with him many places, if there's one thing Michael Walls is not, it is not patient.
That is true, Brett. And it looks like we're going to have some 3 wide in the background here.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to stay green for this entire heat. I'd be shy to do, as once again, Michael Walls trying to look the inside of Aaron Brown. Meanwhile, Cody Webster and Brady Floyd coming for a run. Aaron Brown's trying to work both lanes. I really don't like doing that on iRacing. I've seen people do it with success, but I've also been wrecked by at least one real-life ARCA driver doing that because he thought he was all that and he wasn't. So I'm not a big fan of it. Mike Wall's out making an aggressive move to the top, trying to get in front of Cody Webster. And they're sitting around. And
Moreno's around.
Moreno. A lot of cars involved. Heavy contact for the 91 of Rivers Jones.
Somebody's car is killed. I can't tell who that is because it's just a white car. I think that's going to be
I'm not sure.
Devin
We got Tristan
Frank.
Troll is around. The 91 of Rivers Jones definitely got a lot of damage. Meanwhile, crawling up on the scene of the accident, Jonathan Parker looking like the smartest guy in the room. Matthew Stotts may have been involved. Yeah, it looks like he's got pretty heavy damage. Eric Heater. We'll have to go back and look and see everybody who was involved. Devin Frank has lost his nose. His bumper is gone. That car's definitely killed. So ran Traver Burns. It started to defeat Fonseca Moreno.
I'll try to get the replay pulled up for you here on JCTV.
Looking through the field, only one meatball, and that is to the 56 Crunch Ford of Devin Frank. So unfortunately, likely the end of his chances of qualifying here tonight, but a lot of cars involved in that melee on the front stretch.
Yeah, you called it, Brad. It happened with Moreno. He got pinched into the middle there when Walls made that move and just around in front of the field and everyone trying to check up and just pack racing. Moreno actually looks like...
I think Moreno actually came away fine. I think everybody avoided him. I think most of the wrecking occurred further back in the pack. People running each other over trying to avoid the accident. And honestly, that wreck looks like a lot of netcode between Ethan Fonseca Moreno and the 3 of Snellgrove. They look like they got together when really they were not that close to each other. That led to Moreno going around, other people sliding in. Meanwhile, the big damage to cars like the 91 and the 98. Yeah, when everybody checked up, the 98 of Collier got in the back of Rivers Jones, turned River Jones hard into the outside wall head on, and more people getting involved behind.
We jump back live here as we're going to cross the line with 10 to go here under caution. Field's still in the hands of Aaron Brown.
And looking back, one car that was really killed in that was really knocked out of the accident, Devin Frank, really nothing he could do. He was behind the 3 of Snellgrove, tried to peak low when the wreck was happening, and then Snellgrove got hooked down the track into him and a hard hit into that inside wall at pit exit with the left front. Looks like it broke the left front suspension, so probably going to be the end of the night for the 56, unfortunately. But we right now have multiple cars on pit road. Jonathan Parker, Ethan Fonseca Moreno, Devin Frank, Greg Snellgrove, Rivers Jones, Hunter Collier, Tristan Troll, Eric Heater, and Matthew Stotts all on pit road right now.
All right, now almost looking like we may only have about 14 to 15 people finish this race. It's really going to come down to luck of the draw for the last 4 or 5 spots.
If we survive that wreck, once again, if I'm still out there and I have a clean car right now, I'm looking at how many cars got significant damage in that accident. I'm just saying, I'm not going to risk it. Like, just ride, take it easy. But I don't think we're going to see that. So we'll see. I mean, obviously the broadcaster in me would say hopefully people don't take that approach, but the racer in me says that's what you should do. Also, I'm not sure.
Some
A
guys
long pit.
returning to track, not a lap down yet. Right now, I think we have 18 still on the lead lap.
And our JCTV colleague in this race, Jonathan Parker, I'm not sure if it's a strategy or what, but he has just been sitting on pit road for this entire caution for almost a minute and a half. I'm wondering if he's just trying to be behind even all the wrecked cars.
It's a good question. I'm seeing it too on the live scoring, and I'm just maybe
because he definitely I don't think had damage. So
he just pulled off of pit road before the pace car got there. As the field chooses, looks like Aaron Brown going to choose bottoms as well as Michael Walls. First car up top is going to be Brady Floyd, and then behind him is going to be Brian Lorenzo. So we got our field restacked right now. Right now it looks like 20-ish car. Well, actually I say that and everybody is off pit road and still on the lead lap. So this whole thing is still up for grabs. I assume some of these drivers that are coming off pit road still have big damage. But right now every car that we started is still running out here. So that position can still change hands here. Still gonna have 3 drivers.
Yeah, honestly surprised Devin Frank able to get the required repairs done at least. He's still missing a nose. His car is gonna be way down on pace, but he is still out there.
Well, Brett, you and I both know that sometimes with these draft tracks, damage won't hurt you as bad as it used to if you could just stay in the pack and stay caught up.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case here. I think that's more the case, especially the Xfinity car and the older damage models. The newer damage models, once you get all your optional and required repairs, it usually fixes it all the way. But until you've gotten all that done, it's going to be real slow, especially like that 20 who's missing a front bumper. The next gen missing a front bumper is almost always very slow. So we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think he's going to really struggle here as we get ready to get back going.
Do get ready to get back going. Pace car going to pull to the safety of pit road. Field going to be in the hands of Aaron Brown. We got 9 laps, make it 8 laps when we cross the line.
Yeah, Brady Floyd going to share the front row, followed by Michael Walls, Brian Lorenzo, Sean Cassane, and Cody Webster. Green flag back in the air.
Green flag back in the air. Very even start from both lanes. Right now, top lane kind of spread out. Michael Walls gets to the back bumper of Aaron Brown. They get off to a good start here. Right now, Aaron Brown in that position. We talked about him controlling the lanes. He's in that position where he could, but he's got a driver behind him who we know is going to force an issue here and try to get to the front in Michael Walls.
Yeah, Michael Walls, we know he's not going to be patient.
With help from Lorenzo.
Oh, we got a big bobble. Oh, somebody's around here in the back. That was Brandon Fiedler, got turned into the backstretch grass. Didn't hit anything, but
we
definitely got cost in the draft.
Gonna lose the draft here.
Honestly, looked very similar to what happened to Ryan Priest, just without the car turning into an airplane.
And while that happens, Brady Floyd is pulled down with Lorenzo, Robinson, and Gibbons in front of.
Yeah, they were
Aaron
3
Brown.
wide for a second there. And they are all aggressively changing lanes here. But yeah, new leader, the 20 of Brady Floyd. Right behind him, you got the Rowdy Energy number 1 of Brian Lorenzo, and the Menards 45 of Andretti Robinson.
Somebody up here is just blinking incredibly. I believe that's gonna be Chase Gibbons. Not sure if you're seeing that on your end here, Brett.
Yeah, he's definitely blinking. It's not you. He's blinking a little bit. Blinking cars at plate tracks is just scary because you don't know where they are.
And I had a spotter tell me a long time ago, last season SJRL, when we started at Daytona, there were a couple cars blinking, and he just told me, dude, just keep your foot in it. If you end up wrecking them because of their blink, that's on them.
Yep, and that's the way I usually race it too. My only issue is, and
Oh,
there we
as
go.
we
That
say
9
it.
cars, almost pathetic as the 9 car gets turned in the wall. Ethan Moreno involved.
Where is Josh Copperl
Caution
at
is
when I
out.
need him to call me out for that jinx?
I don't know if that's a jinx as much as pathetic. You kind of just called it as it was. And I think actually this time everybody looks like they're true. And I think the
Oh, and
biggest winner of this caution is Brandon Fiedler.
our
He
buddy
was
Ethan Moreno did not survive that incident.
Yeah, I just saw the front of his car. Yeah, I spoke too soon on that. That nose is crinkled in, but he might be able to get all the optional during this caution. But he just was on the outside. The 9 gets turned up the track and nowhere for Moreno to go, and then big contact with the front of the 07. Oh, and more big contact with the 78 and the 22. He did not get a meatball though, so although we do have a meatball for the 9 of Chase Gibbons, so definitely suspension damage on the 9. Suspension damage and the internet struggling for the 9 of Chase Gibbons. Meanwhile, Jonathan Parker has manually disconnected. Not sure if he was involved in that wreck or what happened there.
Watch right here. Oh, the 9 just blinks out, and when he comes back, he's getting turned.
Oh, yeah, the 48 of Jonathan Parker was involved, and he just goes ahead and disconnects from the session. Oh, yeah, he hit the wall hard at the right front. I think that right front tire was killed. So Jonathan Parker, surprisingly, going to be one of our D&Qs here. He is out of this race. And yeah, looking at it, it broke his suspension immediately. He just alt F forward. And nowhere for people to go there. That's what happens when you get somebody blinking in that main pack.
Right on board with Parker here. See what happens. Oh yeah, nowhere for poor Jonathan Parker to go, and it just keeps happening in front of him. Wow, just a lot of damage to that 48 machine. As he just alt F4s right there. And that'll be the end of his race. Back up front. Right now, field is being led by Andretti Robinson. As I believe we're going to be getting ready to come back to the choose here soon. 4 laps to go. We might get an unofficial green-white checkered here. Or maybe an official.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what happens here. We still got a lot of cars running. Not really, other than Jonathan Parker, everybody's still running in this race. Although Chase Gibbons is not, he's showing in his pit box at least.
Top 14
so maybe still running.
cars are still
but he did have a
with
meatball.
The main pack. The rest trying to catch up, going into pit for service or damage of some kind. Wes Gallo involved in that last one. Matthew Stotts, Duran. All these guys have been involved in an incident here tonight. Snellgrove, Gibbons, and obviously we talked about Parker already disconnecting. Moreno's back on pit road. Frank back on pit road. Drake also on pit road.
And Gibbons is rolling, so he got his damage fixed. He's still in the lead lap. Appears everybody's going to still be out there. Devin Frank's still missing his front bumper.
Yeah, and Brett, you got to wonder if... I know there's not a in-race in-race race control like we've had throughout other leagues with DI9 Designs NOR series and a couple of other, and I believe Jawb has had that in the past as well. But you got to wonder if the admins are talking to Gibbons at all about that blinking issue and maybe giving him a warning here. If he blinks too much, he will not make the main.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to kick people for blinking. It's not ideal. Meanwhile, by the way, joining us here in the booth, we got our JCTV colleague and qualifier for the main event here tonight, Dawson Allen. Dawson, you had a good run in that first race. How are you doing here tonight? And do you think you can get it done in the main?
We'll have to see when we get to the main. Right now, just kind of feeling good. I came into that race and I pretty much just telling myself 13th was the magic number. That's where I wanted to be, and sure enough, I finished 13th after that. But could have had more. Not that wreck at that last second kind of swept me up into it, but that's okay. We got a fast AL8 next gen, ready to rip and ride here in the feature later tonight. Just kind of watching this race, seeing how things play out with these guys, just kind of getting a gauging of what I'm going to expect here when we get that full field of 40 cars.
Yeah, if it's anything like this heat, it's going to be I might have a lot of pace in here tonight. A lot of people being aggressive. It looked like your strategy in that heat was kind of just to try to move forward, but also to be patient with it, not try to force anything. You think, is that kind of going to be your strategy going into the feature as well, trying not to put yourself in a position to get in trouble early and try to just keep it there and be there at the end, or you try to be aggressive?
Let the field go green here really quick, and then I'll get you to answer on that.
We are green and back underway here in duel number 2. 3 laps to go. 2 now as they cross the line. And it looks like Robinson chose the outside, and he's going to make it work and get down to the inside, as Brown looked like he was going to work his way to that outside lane, and he wasn't able to. They're 3 wide right now with Walls in the middle.
And Brady Robinson going to get hung out there by Brady Floyd. Brady Floyd did not want to follow him. As soon as he had a chance, he started trying to get around him. Meanwhile, Michael Wall is going to get to the back bumper of Andretti Robinson. The urgency picking up here is now Aaron Brown thought about taking it 3 wide there. Remember, he is locked onto the front row, so he has nothing to lose here. He's the one person who being aggressive here, not probably a problem. Meanwhile, Ethan Fonseca Moreno has lost the draft, as it appears as Devin Frank, so they probably will be out of the feature unless something changes.
I think the true tragedy here is we talk about guys like Parker and Moreno not making the feature. Look who's still running up front right now. They're all going to be kicking themselves if Michael Walls makes the feature.
Oh, always. I mean, Michael Walls. Also, Gabe Cazzola has made the feature. Meanwhile, big moment for Brady Floyd.
Looks like he got
He's going to
punted
try
out
to
of line
rejoin
there.
the track, and they're going to let him. I think they were 4 wide for a second there as he rejoined. Meanwhile, big move for the lead by Michael Walls as we come into turn 3 for the final time.
And here comes Brian Lorenzo to the back bumper of that 17.
Oh, huge
Walls
shot
not able
from
to hold
7.
on to it. They're going to wreck. Lorenzo
Walls is going to
holds on
save
to it.
They're wrecking more behind. Walls and Brown side by side, and it is
Brown
Aaron
by a
Brown.
nose.
Multiple cars wrecking behind.
0.004 of a second he beat Walls.
Meanwhile, I am showing that the 2 drivers who will miss the main event are going. The 2 drivers who missed the main event: Ethan Fonseca Moreno and Rivers Jones. I'm not sure what happened. Rivers Jones suddenly was listed way back, crossing the line. I think he might have gotten a penalty, so that might be reviewed. I'm gonna go back and look real quick just to verify. Yeah, he got wrecked on the pit road, and he actually may have crossed. Let's see where he crosses the line. Trying to find an angle on my view that shows the line, but he might have made the main event. And actually now looking back at it, yes, he did beat Devin Frank to the line. Maybe it was almost a photo finish, but I believe, assuming the admins review it, the 91 of Rivers Jones will be in the main event and Devin Frank will be out. I think it's just going to be a practice race for a few people here. This is...
That was definitely a fun finish, guys, and I wanted to circle back to what Brett had asked me earlier, and I didn't get a chance to. You know, we're getting ready for this other session. They're going to launch it and let us get rolling here soon. But man, you're talking about, early on in the stage of the race, I think I'm going to pull the same kind of strategy that we saw Brett pull with Jeffrey Armistead in slide job for the iRacing Not Funny 250. I'm going to kind of just lay back, really stay out back and just kind of hide out, not worry about getting up front. I'm not as confident in the next-gen car as I am in, like, the truck or the Xfinity car. So I'm kind of just more tempted to lay back. I don't want to interfere with anything. I know some people have money on the line in this race. I'm just here to have some fun. I'm going to kind of lay back, and if I get a chance to get mixed up and, go for that win, we'll go for it. But, it should be a lot of fun. Just a matter of waiting till this next session opens up so we can hop in, get behind the wheel, and get some extra time rocking and rolling and see if we can't go get a win.
All right, Dawson. Well, we look forward to seeing you in that main event tonight. And a little bit of a pointer from me. If you remember how we were pushing in those Cadillacs last week, very similar to how you can push in a next gen.
Oh, I'll keep my ears up for that. Just to tell you, because I don't care, I'm not in the booth tonight. Brett says he's in the bathroom, so don't try to holler for him. He will not respond to you. He's going to hate me for saying it, but Brett got to go potty, so Brett's not here in the booth right now. But I'm heading in, figure out what the driver's meeting's about, and I will hopefully talk to you guys later.
All right, we look forward to seeing you, Dawson. Good luck tonight.
10-4, thanks, buddy.
And with that, I am going to go ahead and send you all on a commercial break. Don't go anywhere, though, as we're going to get ready to load up this next session here with the SAAC Coast to Coast Series. As we get ready to get started, race 1, SAAC Daytona 250 coming at you here after we come back from commercial break. Appreciate everybody who helps us get it done here at JCTV. We will see you guys in the second session. And if you're a driver who just missed out, please come and watch the second session and enjoy the racing. Thank you all. We will see you when we get back.
To have a rivalry, you need a rival. For every David, a Goliath. For every Hatfield, a McCoy.
Every KO y'all, bro.
Needs a Bobby Allison.
For every fight,
A ring to settle it in.
In order to finish first.
somebody's got to finish second.
I hate second. Love your rivals.
Because you need someone to beat.
At Domino's, you can carry out 3 topping pizzas for just $7.99 each. And with Domino's Carside Delivery, you can conveniently stay in your car while you do it. Just pull up, check in online, and we'll quickly bring your food to you.
Thank you.
So you don't have to get out to get carry out. Like Denny here.
Hey, Hamlin. I like your PJs.
PJs.
Stay in the driver's seat with Domino's Carside Delivery.
I was made in the shadows of greatness, shaped by the hands of legacy, forged in the fires of racing. I've been challenged, tested, and proven. Whether it's on that track or off, the truth is, what you're made of is what you're made to do.
This season, Jimmy Johnson knows that there's nothing more painful than losing. Not running out of fuel on the last lap. Not getting hit in the ear with a frisbee while jogging through the infield. Not getting a paper cut, then making fresh squeezed lemonade. Losing is even more painful than rescuing a baby porcupine from a thorn bush. Raising it as your own. Then releasing it back into the wild.
Goodbye, Pricklebear.
Jimmy Johnson knows that if losing didn't hurt, winning wouldn't feel so good.
It's Denny time.
You drive like my mom.
Dinner's ready.
What would you do with your favorite driver? Enter your design at toyotaracing.com.
It has been an up and down season for Napa Racing, but I still get letters from my fans, like from Joel in Columbus. No, they didn't accidentally give me the carb yesterday. And Jerry in Minneapolis, I am aware that turn 3 is not a school zone. And to Chester in Lynchburg, I'm sure your 83 Celica is crazy fast, but I think I'll stick with the Napa Camry. Oh, my fans, always trying to help.
Hey guys. As you know, from time to time, we believe in shaking things up, making changes in the organization. For that reason, we decided to change my car's number from 8 to 6.7. I'm just messing with you. We're gonna stick with 8.
Don't be conventional.
Kevin Harvick?
Be exceptional. Upgrade to Mobil 1 synthetic motor oil. It helps your engine last over 250,000 miles.
Wow. What's he doing?
Raving.
He's exceptional.
So is Mobil 1. Yes.
Is this good?
I do not know.
Get 250,000 miles of protection. Upgrade to Mobil 1.
What can you learn from Tony Stewart?
You gotta sell stuff you love. People have to trust you. You are what you endorse. So any questions?
Why is nobody buying my Estrada glasses? Hello? Estrada.
Look at me, I got a million of these care crushers on load. Nothing. How do you do it, Tony? Look, endorse things you believe in. Like me and the Whopper. I endorse it because I love it. Okay, you lost me on that one, Tony.
Estrada.
Whopper, flame fresh taste, endorsed and loved by Tony Stewart.
Is life just too slow for you? Does everything just seem to drag? Put a 24 on it, guaranteed to make anything faster.
Anything? What about this toast?
Put a 24 on it.
Now that's some fast food. How about this old car?
Put a 24 on it.
Shoo, that car's fast. What about that sloth?
Put a 24 on it.
Now that's nature going fast. Now what about this house?
Put a 24 on it.
Now that's a fast-looking house right there.
Yep, works on most anything. Lamps. Plants.
That plant's growing fast.
Printers.
I like that printer.
Edna.
That's a fast-looking grandma.
Romantic sunsets. Formal wear. Informal wear. Fancy European vacations.
How about Adele Jr.?
Let's not put a 24 on it.
If you want to put a little speed in your life, put a 24 on it.
Results may vary.
Why me? Why me? I won Daytona last year.
I won nationwide.
I did beat Jimmy Johnson.
I won Vegas. I won Richmond.
I'm good with people. I'm from Wisconsin. I'm loyal. I like animals.
I'm better looking.
Come on. I'm a Libra. There was a cat in a tree and I got him out. So?
So what do you think?
Am I on your team?
Choose wisely. The all-new 2013 NASCAR Fantasy Live. Play today at NASCAR.com.
I'm feeling a connection here.
Hey, Josh. Did you know that Tire Pros does more than just tires? I mean, they can handle all of your car's automotive needs.
Why are you talking like that?
I'm talking normally about how Tire Pros offers complete car care.
Wait, are we in a commercial?
No, we're in a car.
Is that a camera?
Tire Pros, more than tires.
What was that, a tagline? Where'd that logo come from?
Mahindra's the official tractor of Tough, right, Chase?
Yep, that's right, Tony.
This baby's got 4,000 pounds of front-end lift capacity, right?
It sure does.
So who's tougher, kid? Me or you?
You are, Tony. Can you put me down now?
What? You want to go higher? Okay.
I said down, you old goat.
I am the GOAT.
Mahindra, the official tractor of Tough and Stewart Haas Racing.
Come on, Tony, put me down.
I had no idea what I was getting into when I agreed to drive the Aaron's Dream Machine. I mean, I knew Aaron's was a great company, how they help people get the things they need without needing credit at a guaranteed low price. Aaron's is just great. But working with Michael Waltrip, seriously, I don't understand him at all. He's a mess. Unbelievably disorganized and extremely immature. Never serious. He's like the opposite of me. This is going to be a very long season.
We're just moments away from adding a new chapter to college basketball's most storied rivalry.
This is Clint Boyer, showing the clarity and alertness we call focus. This is Clint Boyer showing practically no focus. Notice the difference? With focus, without focus.
Clint! Huh?
With focus, without focus.
Focus is better.
Focus is better. That's why Clint takes 5-hour energy. Because with focus,
Anything is possible!
Maybe you know who we are.
But do you know who we really are?
We're ladies.
And not so gentle men.
We're part athlete.
Part astronaut.
We're outlaws turned heroes.
We're the loudest party on earth.
We're fire. We're smoke. We live at the corner of Mayhem and Maine.
Where anything can happen. It usually does.
Ooh. Call Logano. Hey, Joey, you can save money if you fill up at Shell if you use Advanced Auto Parts Speed Perks.
Dude, I'm way ahead of you.
You saved at the pump?
Yeah, I saved at the pump.
The pump?
The pump.
He saved at the pump!
Now you can save at the pump when you shop at Advance Auto Parts. Learn more at advanceautoparts.com/gas rewards.
Now, it's my turn.
Dad, where'd you get that?
Oh, you won't believe what just happened.
Don't tell me you got the last Diet Dew.
Yeah.
I love the taste of Diet Dew. What do you want for it? Deal.
Diet Mountain Dew. Yeah, it tastes that good.
Hey, hotshot. Meter's running.
There's one. What is that?
It's my Dale call.
That's way better than my duck call.
If you're on a diet of taking it up a notch,
It's just different.
drink Diet Dew, the only diet with dew in it.
I'm gonna lay it right across the board.
Oh, yeah. We're going to Daytona.
Stop struggling.
Big Show, it's great to see you, but what are you doing to my mechanic?
He said you were more powerful than me.
It's true. He's right.
Matt, don't test me.
Hey, small can be powerful too. Look, I have the Tide Pods car.
Hey, can I borrow her in a couple weeks?
No way. She's all mine.
Come here. You got the keys to her, right?
There are no keys.
It's now the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series.
Is this really necessary? You want to win at Kentucky? Definitely.
At the roughest track on the circuit, those who prepare take advantage of those who don't.
No.
You don't get lucky in Kentucky. For tickets, call 859-578-2300 or visit KentuckySpeedway.com.
Night-night.
Sure signed some interesting stuff, Clint.
Yeah, Jim. I sign all kinds of things.
Did you just sign a baby?
I sign lots of babies.
I signed a lot of hats.
Glad we took our 5-hour energy today. Gives you that alert, energized feeling. Lasts for hours. 0 sugar, 4 calories.
Thanks.
Oh, look at Kyle Busch out there.
Yeah, he is all over the track.
I mean, what has gotten into him today?
Oh, that cannot be good.
Oh, unbelievable.
Whoa, look out.
Wait a minute. Is Kyle in reverse?
Yeah, you don't see that every day. Okay, that is bad driving.
Oh, this is not like Kyle at all.
Are we winning?
I thought you were looking.
M&M's makes race day more fun.
What is Kyle thinking?
Pit road is open. Eric.
Well, Nate, they're trying to make the most of a frustrating day.
No, Chris.
We can just quit. Enough of that garbage. Absolutely terrible. Hey, let's go. As it seems, we can lose. I'm going to try to get you going just a little bit. You do your job, I'll do mine, okay? Shake it off there and put your belt tight. Go, 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 go. Tony? How you feeling, bud? I'd like to buy the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honeybees and snow white turtle doves. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I'd like to buy the world a coat.
At Domino's, you can carry out 3 topping pizzas for just $7.99 each. And with Domino's Carside Delivery, you can conveniently stay in your car while you do it. Just pull up, check in online, and we'll quickly bring your food to you.
Thank you.
So you don't have to get out to get carry out. Like Denny here.
Hey, Hamlin. I like your PJs.
PJs? Stay in the driver's seat with Domino's Carside Delivery.
Back alive here from the Daytona Motor Speedway as we get ready to kick off the season here for the SAAC Coast to Coast Cup Series. Yet again, I am Jonathan Campbell. I'm joined in the booth tonight by Brett Bennett. Brett, we just seen the duels go down. We know what our starting lineup's gonna be, and let's just jump right into it because I know you've got it right in front of you. Go ahead and run us through the starting lineup for our race here.
I don't have it right. I think you're thinking too far ahead. I do not have that right in front of me at the moment, but I'll see what if I, because I have not been given it yet unless they've entered it on their Google Docs. But I do know our front row tonight will be Luke Knupp and Aaron Brown. If I remember correctly, was on the outside pole. So those will be our front row here tonight as we get ready to go 100 laps here at the Daytona International Speedway, the world center of racing. It's going to be quite the race here. We're going to have a full field, 40 cars. The duels, it didn't seem like they could keep it clean with 20 cars, so I'm not sure how they're going to do it with 40 cars. You got a lot of drivers who are going to be, I think, really aggressive too early in this race, so it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Indeed it is, and it still appears that Trading Paints is not fully working yet, but it is working better than it was before as we were watching Shockey Tarpley in this little pack here. His paint has loaded. Luke Mahone, the 26 of Sean Kissany. Those paints are loading in sort of. It's still having a little bit of issues with the manufacturers on those cars and getting everything loaded in properly, but I'm attempting to try and fix it.
Yeah, just be patient with it. Shredding paints can be slow. It happens.
We've got about 5 minutes here of warm-up time. I mean, we could see about talking to one of our poll sitters here, Brett, if any of those are in the Discord currently.
Yeah, and I'll here see if we can pull in. I don't see Luke Nuff available, although I might be able to get a hold of him. If I don't accidentally click on a voice chat in another server trying to find Luke Knupp. That would be helpful. Let's see if we got our outside. I am not seeing either of our front row starters in here, unfortunately.
What about someone who just barely made the race? Do we have any of those guys available?
You're asking me too many questions.
I know. I'm asking a lot out of you. You're my right-hand man. I expect a lot out of you.
No, I know. No, you're making me open like 5 different tabs. It's a lot of work. But no, we gotta. I don't want to just grab somebody random without like them being ready here. So, do we? Trying to find the freaking results. This is frustrating. I had it pulled up and then it disappeared because I can't have nice things. I don't have anybody to talk to right now, but I will say as we go in this race, we did hear from Dawson Allen before this race started. He was looking at possibly doing what me and Jeffrey Armistead did in that race at Daytona earlier this year in Slide Job, which is just ride in the back, keep that car clean, and then just be there at the end. And I think that's the way to go about it. But that said, we've seen a lot of calamity in those duels. I think that's going to be the way to go, especially when you got drivers like Michael Walls in this race. We saw in that duel number 2, he was not being patient at all. And that was a situation where I think patience would have been the better option for him, but you know, he made it into the feature at least, so props him for that. We'll keep looking here as we get closer and closer to the start here. I'm still trying to see if I can figure out where we got this information, because usually SAAC is really good about giving us the information in different spots. They got a really good spreadsheet with most information on it, but I'm apparently stupid and don't know how to find it. So never mind, I am stupid. I just had the bottom of the screen pulled off, which might have it. So, I do have our starting lineup after a delay. On the front row of the grid here tonight, we will have the 29 of Luke Knupp and the 7 of Aaron Brown. Row 2 will be the 5 of Luke Mahone and the 17 of Michael Walls. Row 3, Zachary Thornton and Eric Heater. Row 4, the 8 of Gabe Cazzola, the 02 of Traver Burns. Row 5, the 50 of Luke Peters and the 45 of Andretti Robinson. Row 6, the 16 of Ryan Kendrick, the 6 of Tristan Troll. Row 7, the 55 of Jeffrey Belk and the 98 of Hunter Collier. Row 8, we have the 31 of Ollie Reeves and the 39 of Brandon Fiedler. Making up row 9, the 42 of Wyatt Roberts and the 78 of Matthew Stotts. Row 10, the 77 of Jake Scarborough, the 22 of Amir Bascombe. Row 71, row 11, the 71 of Jason Radcock and the 2 of Austin Duran. Row 12, the 21 of Paul Imms and the 07 of Wes Gallo. Row 13, JCTV zone, Dawson Allen and in the 79 and the 26 of Sean Kazane. Row 14, our defending champion, the 36 of Cody Riveras, and the 3 of Greg Snellgrove. Starting row 15, we got the 28 of Bradley Suiinski and the 08 of Cody Webster. Row 16, the 37 of Declan Durba and the 09 of Malachi Drake. Row 17, recovering from an early accident to make it in, the 01 of Cash Culp. And our defending series runner-up, the number 1 of Brian Lorenzo. Row 18, we have the winner of the Clash last week, Ellis Wells in the 57, and the 20 of Brady Floyd, who throughout that last race looked like he was going to be in a position to potentially win it. Starting row 19, we have the 25 of Shockey Tarpley and the 56 of Devin Frank. And on the final row of the grid, we have the 96 of Damian Tomsick and the 43 of Ethan Fonseca Moreno, who, so for those not aware, they did keep the penalty to Rivers Jones for entering for that unsafe pit entry, and Chase Gibbons was given a post-race penalty for laying back on the final restart and dropped to the end of the lead lap. So that knocked him out of our main event here tonight. Meanwhile, the alternates for tonight's race, if anybody does not join who qualified, are in order: the 18 of Patrick Coluccio, the 91 of Rivers Jones, the 12 of Ethan Eckert, the 9 of Chase Gibbons, the 30 of Matthew Miles, the 48 of Jonathan Parker, and the 23 of Nicholas Borowski. As right now, they have started the grid here for this race.
Indeed, they have.
And I believe all 40 drivers who qualified have shown up, so we will not have any of the alternates making a start here tonight. So our D&Qs tonight, once again, are the 18 of Patrick Coluccio, the 91 of Rivers Jones, the 12 of Ethan Eckert, the 9 of Chase Gibbons, the 30 of Matthew Miles. Probably the biggest shock, the 48 of Jonathan Parker, and also the 23 of Nicholas Borowski. Parker not qualified, definitely a surprise, seeing how usually successful he is here on JCTV, but we'll see. I'm not sure if he's running full-time in this league. Hopefully we'll see him back here next week for the second race of the SAAC Coast to Coast Cup Series, as next week they will be at the Homestead-Miami Speedway in Miami, Florida. So staying in the state of Florida, but to a track that a lot of times is fun to drive in Homestead. So completely different track, but meanwhile the cars are now rolling on the track for the parade lap.
And I'm not seeing our outside pole sitter on track yet. Maybe electing to start from the pits. See a lot of guys still sitting on pit road, actually. Guys outside the top 40 aren't going to count, but...
Yeah, and iRacing for me is not perfect. It does not like to display if it just kind of cuts out after like 24 cars. So hopefully I won't miss too much due to that. That's why we got you being the one broadcasted, not me.
Even I'm having my own issues over here, Brett. I'm trying my best to get everything to work out, but it's just not cooperating at all.
Yeah, well, we're doing the best we can here. Apologies if anybody's scheme is not displaying correctly. We will do all we can to make sure we get that fixed going forward. But in the day, trading paint sometimes is bad. I've had issues with it in the past too. It happens. You can't, sometimes there's really nothing you can do about it. And it does appear that Aaron Brown is starting from the pits, so that will make our front row Luke Knupp and Michael Walls, 2 regulars in the Slide Job Racing League. Michael Walls, by the way, just a quick shout out, Saturday, playoffs getting started in the Pits News Truck Series. Michael Walls, one of the drivers in that, as we get ready for the pace car to pull off.
And here's our race analysis as we get ready to go green here today. 100 laps, 250 miles, stage end at 40 laps. We get ready to go green, and I'm having all kinds of loading issues right now, but we go green.
Luke Knupp gets a good launch. 5 of Luke Mahone with him. Meanwhile, the 99 and the 5, Heater and Walls get a good jump, but not much help behind. But a big push from Eric Heater trying to keep Michael Walls up there. That Red Bull number 99 pushing the next Latoll 17, that Chris Buescher scheme for Michael Walls. Both lines still side by side as they exit turn 2.
And I'm having a lot of cars blinking around, not able to really tell what the heck's going on right now.
Yeah, I got 28 showing, so it's iRacing, the best.
Yeah, and unfortunately for the SAAC guys, I might not be able to actually broadcast this race because of this issue. It is not cooperating.
Just focus on the leader, on the leader. Put it on the leader or one of the leaders, so it's not that way. Well, at least folks should keep those cars blinked in.
That is what it's currently doing, but it's just not working out. And
I love iRacing.
I apologize for everybody at home. It's just one of those nights.
Yeah, we'll do all we can to bring what we can to you.
I wish I could tell you what was going on, because I don't know.
Luke Knupp has taken the lead with Michael Walls pushing him. Meanwhile, we got Luke Mahone running third. Both lines kind of formed here up at the front. Dawson Allen not doing what he said earlier, not laying back. We got about 3, 4, 5 cars now break it single file out front. Luke Knupp, Michael Walls, Luke Mahone, Zachary Thornton, Gabe Cazola, Eric Heater. They're starting to get single file up at the front of the field, although I don't know if Michael Walls is going to be happy running behind Luke Knupp for very long. The top 7 now single file. Meanwhile, it looks like the 78 of Matthew Stott's going to drop to the apron on the back stretch in that Duracell Ford, go to the rear of the field.
I apologize for folks at home. I am going to attempt to fix this as best I can here. Real quick. Frame rate, no limit.
While John's trying to fix that, I'll keep trying to give his best play-by-play I can here. Make sure keep you informed of what's going on here. Still single file out front. Top 7, Knupp, Walls, Mahone, Thornton, Cazola, Heater, Peters. Traber Burns is looking to form an outside with Andretti Robinson behind him, but no real help behind them. But they are getting some good momentum generated with just those 2 cars. Up side by side with the 99 of Eric Heater for the 6th place, but Andretti Robinson in that Aero Menards Ford going to hang out the 0-2 of Traber Burns, and single file will remain how it runs at the front of the field. They will all need to pit here in this first stage. 40 laps, they cannot make it that far in field. We do have a slightly limited fuel tank here tonight. Meanwhile, those top 8 cars still single file. Traber Burns and Ryan Kendrick, Traber Burns and Tristan Troll, along with Hunter Collier, trying to form that outside lane. That 0-2 of Traber Burns leading it, but just not enough cars right now to get that going. Dawson Allen is in it as well as the 26 of Sean Kazane and the 98 of Hunter Collier.
Okay, so I did fix something for everybody at home. I set my cars to 20, so I can see 20 cars on track right now. Kind of like what Brett's seeing. Apologize for those at home that want to see more than 20 cars at one time, but for some reason, I think it's my CPU just cannot hold that.
Probably those iRacing updates. Every time they do an update, it casts the CPU more, and then things go wonky. It's not what you can do, but still, we got good action up front here in this race. Just so people are aware, Ethan Fonseca Moreno, I'm not sure what happened to him. He is now 4 laps down. He might have had some internet issues. Matthew Stotts is back to drive with him. Damian Tomsick, Matthew Stotts, and Aaron Brown no longer in the lead draft. I believe Aaron Brown started from the pit lane here tonight. But I'm going to go back up front because if I cook away from the leaders, they all blink out, and I'd rather have focus on that.
Right now, a very tame start as Luke Knupp.
Yeah, they've been real patient here early. I don't know how long this is going to last, but also real quick, a shout out to our JCTV colleague Dawson Allen. He has worked his way up into the top 15, running in the 13th position right now. He's been working that top lane along with Traber Burns, Tristan Troll, and Hunter Collier. They've been starting to make a little bit of progress forward. Meanwhile, that 29 Luke Knupp Racing machine of Luke Knupp continues to lead this race with the Chris Buescher paint for Michael Walls running right behind him. Then they got the 5 of Luke Mahone, and then that all gray and dark number 35 is Zachary Ford and running 4th. Then the Kyle Busch scheme for Gabe Cazola running the number 8 Lucas Oil machine. He's running 5th. We've seen him in the 18 in Slide Job, another usually Kyle Busch schemes there as well, so I'm not surprised to see him in a Kyle Busch scheme here. Continue to be just kind of tame double file racing here. Not really anybody making aggressive moves, changing lanes. Not the most surprising at this point. I think everybody saw the duels and just wants to try to keep it clean for a while. Just ride. Oh, that outside lane is moving forward. Traber Burns now up to the fifth place. Gabe Cazzola side by side for 5th. That's the lane. Just more and more cars kind of jumping up there. You see Cody Rivera at the back of that line. Brian Lorenzo. Oh, and aggressive move to the top. They're 3 wide. I'm not sure what really happened there, but suddenly and that's going to check up that top lane. That was the 26 of Sean Kazane. I'm real quick going to take a look on my end of what happened there. Looks like he just tried to make an aggressive move, but he was not clear, and he just got hung out in the middle. Meanwhile, Luke Knupp continues to lead. Luke Knupp leading. Michael Walls continues to run second. That outside lane looked like it was moving forward, but that move by Sean Kazane really checked him up. But they're starting to get momentum back here. Up once again, even with Gabe Cazzola for that 5th spot. Top 4 have remained pretty consistent throughout this race. Luke Knupp, Michael Walls, Luke Mahone, and Zachary Thornton. Once again, another quick shout out. We've had the fact that we've kept the green so far 10 laps. Really a lot of patience being shown by these drivers who really didn't show a lot of patience in that first race. They continue to run 2 by 2, but not really anybody making aggressive moves. We saw that one move by Sean Kazane. They continue to run 2 by 2. Meanwhile, that 0-2 now up even with the 4th place 35 is Zachary Thornton. They're just kind of gaining pulling up a spot per lap, and that's what we discussed in the duels. That patience on that high line. Meanwhile, Michael Walls thought about making a move on Luke Knupp. Now he's going to drop it and push him down the backstretch.
Oh, that wasn't a move Michael Walls was thinking of making. Michael Walls just pushed Luke Knupp out of line there.
Yeah, meanwhile, Luke Mahone, I don't think he wants to follow Michael Walls after seeing that. He's going to pull to the top in front of Traber Burns, and he might challenge for the lead. That 5 car. Sorry, that 5 car with Doran Designs on it. That kind of reminiscent of the Tony Stewart Xfinity scheme that he won with HendrickCars.com back at the Xfinity race here a couple years back. He's going to look for the lead. He's going to look to keep challenging up front, but meanwhile, that 29 of Luke Knupp continues to control this race with Michael Walls behind him, and they seem pretty happy just to work together for now. I got to remember to not click to other cars because it screws everything up.
Right now, Luke Knupp's still continuing to be the leader.
Yeah, Luke Knupp continuing to lead. Meanwhile, we have the 17 of Michael Walsh right behind him, followed by Zach Thornton, Dave Cazzola, Eric Heater, Luke Mahone, Connor Collier, Traber Burns, Luke Peters, Tristan Troll.
And they are catching a lap car in Aaron Brown currently.
Yeah, Aaron Brown, our outside pole sitter here, but ran into some issues. Don't know if he just had issues getting on or missed a grid time or what, but he failed the grid, had to start from the pits. He's about to go a lap down. Meanwhile, the 8 of Gabe Cazzola going to move to the outside, and there's one other thing. Gabe Cazzola, just like Michael Walls, always an aggressive driver. Meanwhile, the caution is out. Ellis Wells has thrown the caution flag. I'm not sure what we got the caution for here. Probably was a wreck that I could not see because I am.
I found
his cars.
a car that was involved. Devin Frank has heavy damage.
Yeah, he is missing that right front quarter panel. Heavy damage to the right front of that car.
See if we can pop up a replay here.
Yeah, I know I'm not going to be able to see a replay because he was not blinked in for me. Hopefully he's blinked in for you.
Trying to find him here. Lost his name already. Devin Frank. It doesn't appear that he was blinked in for me, so I'm not able to find a replay of that, but we'll jump back live.
Yeah, I wish they had been courteous and wrecked up at the front where I could have seen it, but oh well. Meanwhile,
I completely agree with you there, Brett.
But not much we can do about it. It's what it is.
Hopefully by next week, these issues are figured out.
Yeah, it's one of those things of iRacing. It does it where it won't show all the cars unless you mess with an internet setting, and I've got to go mess with it again, I guess. But last time I messed with it, I started blue screening, so I don't want to mess with it. So, we'll see how that goes.
The entire field's going to come down pit road here. Led down by Luke Knupp. Some cars rolling through, maybe some guys that missed their pit boxes. Kissany and Lorenzo were the two that rolled through pit road. Maybe they missed their pit boxes.
Yeah, Sean Kazane and Brian Lorenzo rolled through. I'm sure they'll come back down because I believe we are in the fuel window possibly to make it to the end of this stage. Just a note, Devin Frank has gone a lap down. Ethan Fonseca Moreno is 4 laps down. I think he may have gotten one of his laps back here. I'm not sure. Not sure, but unfortunately some connection issues early today for Ethan Fonseca Moreno. In fact, he did get a lucky dog there. He is now 3 laps down to the leader. He's going to need some more cautions, but it's Daytona. You never know. Meanwhile, yeah, we're going to have more cars here roll down, possibly top off on fuel. Nice. I try to find the front of the field, which is always a challenge right now. Luke Knupp chooses the outside lane as the leader. Michael Walls will start to his inside. Row 2 will be Zachary Thornton and Gabe Cazzola, then Hunter Collier, Luke Peters, and then Jake Scarborough Jake Scarborough will start next on the outside. We will have 23 to go or 24 to go in stage 23, because I can't do math. They go in stage 1 here as we come back to the green flag this time by.
So it'll be Nupp, Walls, Thornton, and Cazzola. Top 4 here. As we get ready to come back to the green.
Yeah, we will. About the silence there. We gotta ready to get going here. Is looking up. We'll see if him and Michael Walls. I'm thinking he might jump early here and then try to pull it out in front of Michael Walls. They were working really well together up front. See, they keep that up as Luke Nupp takes off. Green flag back out here at Daytona.
And as predicted, Luke Nupp gonna jump to that inside lane here. Well, actually, no, not fully committed yet. But now he does get down to the inside.
He's down, but he's way out in front of Michael Walls, Zachary Ford, and Gabe Cazzola. Michael Walls and Gabe Cazzola lined up. That is a dangerous combination. Huge run here for Michael Walls, but he's just going to follow Luke Nupp. I think that's the plan here. Michael Walls just going to stay in line here and push Luke Nupp down the backstretch. Gabe Cazzola with him. Right behind him, Luke Peters. That 29 machine, though, stout out front of the LKR 29. Meanwhile, it appears Dawson Allen, I believe, came back down and topped off for that green. He had worked his way up through the field, but now riding in the back. Gabe Cazzola going to make a move to the top here. Hope maybe get a push from Zachary Thornton, get up to the lead. That moves Luke Peters, guy who last week at the Clash seemed to be the dominant car, but faded late and got passed by Ellis Wells for the win. Luke Nupp continuing to lead the race. With Michael Walls behind him, Gabe Cazzola and Zachary Ford not able to really get a lot of momentum here. Jake Scarborough running up the 4th line on that inside line. Jake Scarborough, guy really in need of a good run. Seen him usually in slide job. Has not had a lot of good results lately, but having a really strong run up now inside that top 10. Looking to move into the top 5 right now. 4th line on the inside. I have no ability to produce. Oh. We've got a 5-car breakaway out front. Luke Nupp, Michael Walls, Luke Peters, Jake Scarborough, Luke Mahone, and Cody Riveras. But Cody Riveras and Luke Mahone going to move to the outside. First time really today we've seen Cody Riveras, the defending series champion, up front. Meanwhile, we are approaching lap traffic. Right up ahead, Ethan Fonseca Moreno. He is 5 laps down. I believe he had another, he disconnected for the second time. Some internet issues here for Ethan Fonseca Moreno as he's going to get put 6 laps down right now. Top 3 still single file. Meanwhile, Luke Mahone and Jake Scarborough side by side for that 4th position. Meanwhile, Luke Mahone now getting side by side. Meanwhile, shuffled out of line. Down to the apron goes, I believe that was the... I am not sure, to be honest, but let's see if we can figure that out real quick. That was the 39 of Brandon Fiedler getting cycled out to the apron there. Huh?
So I just spoke with my boss over at JCTV. Unfortunately, with all the technical difficulties, tried to see if we could get a switch for a producer at the stage break. We're not going to be able to, and he is pretty much advising me that because of the poor quality here tonight and all the issues that we're having, we're sorry to the SAAC guys, and we're sorry to all the fans watching, the 14 viewers. We see you all, and we appreciate you all coming out. But Brett, as I just told you, and as Josh just told me, we are going to go ahead and forego this presentation of the SAAC Coast to Coast season opener. For all the SAAC guys, again, I express how sorry I am that these issues happen, but they do happen from time to time. We, as a broadcast team, are going to go back and try to figure out if we can fix it at all, and if not, can we get another producer to continue bringing this show for you guys. So yeah, from myself, from Brett Bennett, deepest apologies to everyone who's here watching. We appreciate all of you guys showing up. And deepest apologies to the SAAC guys, but the technical difficulties are just proving to kick our butts here tonight. So we are going to regroup. We will be back on Saturday to kick off the In the Pit News Truck Series playoffs. We'll be back on Tuesday for the Slide Jawb Racing Series. And we should be back next Thursday with the SAAC Coast to Coast Series. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate every single one of you, and I hope you don't get too upset with me here as we end this stream. Have a good night. Thank you, everybody.